Ooh, that's a tough question. I played minor hockey. I played up into juvenile. Uh, when I was about 14, I was asked to help out with Adam. Well, I guess they were called Adam at the time. Team, and I helped out and I started coaching. And as I was coaching, I was still playing midget and juvenile, and I stayed with the coaching and coached some players that went on to be very successful. Eric Vale, who won the NHL Rookie of the Year, and Don Lever, who played 20 some years in the NHL. I was fortunate to coach them, but from there I was asked to go into its administration with Schumacher Minor Hockey, and then they asked me as represented Schumacher Hockey Minor Hockey to go to the NOHA meetings. So I attended my first NOHA meeting in 1969. It was in Cobalt. That was the 50th year of the NOHA, and I guess I liked what was going on. That I went right through for another 50 years with the NOHA and attended my 100th or the 50th, my 50th, and at the 100th of the NOHA, and both of those were in Cobalt. And when I was on the NOHA, then I was asked to serve as their representative to the Ontario Hockey Association with the formation of the new branch, which was the OHF, which came into being roughly in the early 90s. I stayed with them and became president. Then I was asked to go to Hockey Canada, and I was on Hockey Canada. So I don't think it said anything that I sat down and said, I want to do this. It was just, I was doing one thing and was asked to go up and then go up, and I just kept going. Well, I love hockey, and I think my biggest thrill in hockey and so on, it's just to be around the kids. I'm a retired school teacher, and I love kids, and I like to see kids grow. I like to see kids get better, and I also like to try to teach kids. I'm a teacher at heart. I've had many, very good opportunities, not only with Hockey Canada, but with the NOHA. I can remember when we brought the under 17 World Hockey Championships into the NOHA in 1992. Like, it was the first year that they ever left Quebec, and we had it in Ontario. And then we had it again in 2000. We had it again in 2010, and I was involved in all of those. I guess one of my biggest thrills in hockey was, I guess it was a combination of the Olympics in 2010 in Vancouver. First of all, on July 1st, 2010, I was asked to carry the torch uh, for Hockey Canada, and my stint was in Iroquois Falls. It was 40 below that day. Man, it was cold. But then later on, I was invited to go to Vancouver, and I watched the women play and win the gold. And I watched the men play. So I guess that was two of my biggest highlights, all grouped together. But there's been many. Not too long ago, a few years ago, I was on January the 6th, which is a little Christmas Epiphany. I was at Red Square in Moscow, and I was with the girls under 18 team. And I was saying to my wife, if my dad could see me now, he would just be turning over, saying, "What are you doing in Moscow?" Because he came over to Canada in the 30s to escape communism and so on. And here I am in the hotbed of communism in 2010. So that was a real thrill. But there's been many. The first trip I made with Hockey Canada was to Kazan, Russia in 2008, and we won the gold medal in the under 18. And you're sitting in an arena, there was 12,000 spectators, and there was Karen and I, my wife. We were the only Canadians there, and Pat Quinn was the coach, and we did a great job, and we won the gold. So there's been many exciting moments and so on, but those stand out in my mind. I think the biggest thing is it teaches maturity, but more important, it means getting along with others. I don't think you can have a good hockey team or so on unless the players are together and you sort of set goals and aims, and you have them. It's no different than teaching school. You have goals and aims, and let's meet them. And if you are successful, you go up to the next thing, next standard. I think you have to be positive at all times, uh, but being positive does not mean you can't criticize. But you got to criticize in a positive way. I really, I did spend a lot of time in development, both with the NOHA and the OHF. And one of the things was is that we had to get rid of the coaches and so on, just that browbeated the kids and so on. That's not coaching. I think coaching is teaching, and yes, you criticize, but you would do it positively. And if the kids are happy and want to come back, I think you've done a good job. Uh, I, 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 I don't know if there's one single thing. I was very fortunate. My wife, when we met, knew nothing about hockey. She was from Southern Ontario, and it's a funny story. The first time she brought nerve out or got nerve out that she wanted to go out with me, I had to cancel the date because I was playing a game for the Flying Fathers hockey team, and I had to turn her down. That's the laugh of the family. But she she was always very supportive. We had two boys playing hockey, and many of the times in the winter she'd be going with one son one direction, and I'd be going with another son in the other direction. And she just encouraged me all the way. And so, as I say, she inspired me in that. And my two boys as well, they were proud of what I had accomplished, and they encouraged me to go on. But as I said at the beginning, it wasn't something that I said. I went to my first meeting in 1969 in Cobalt with the NOHA, and I said, I'm going to be president someday, or I'm going to be president of the OHA. I'm going to the Hockey Canada. I don't think you aspire for those goals. It's just something that happens, and you're asked. And if you feel you're competent enough, you move on. But I love the game of hockey, and I love teaching. So that's my inspiration. Oh, favorite memory of your time with the NOHA. As I say, one of the biggest was 1992 with the under 17, because as I say, before that there was an under 17 championship, but it was called the Quebec Esso Cup, and it was always held in Quebec. And Chris May approached. There was Dick Farrell was the president at the time. I was the second vice, and said we could pull this off. And we applied to Hockey Canada and did it, and we were very successful. And in fact, so successful, I think we are the only community in Canada that has hosted that on three occasions. And I mean, that speaks a lot for the Northern Ontario Hockey Association. So that was one of the biggest highlights. I guess the first time the NOHA allowed me to go to the Hockey Canada annual general meeting, which was in 1988, right after the uh, Alberta Calgary Olympics. And my wife and I went there. That was the first time they sent the officers of the NOHA to the AGM. And I was amazed. And again, I never thought that someday sitting there that I would be sitting there as a vice president and so on. So that was another thing that really, but it all happened because of the NOHA. And those are two things that stand out, really stand out in my mind. Well, I think we have started. I think the NOHA could do a little better on attracting girls into the game. Serving on Hockey Canada and traveling, I've traveled with the women's national team, and I've traveled with the women's under 18 team on 5 occasions. I've been to their local championships and so on. In fact, the last one was in Sudbury a couple of years ago. And I see that is a real big stepping stone. And I think we could do more there. I know there are segments in Northern Ontario where there is female hockey, but I think it should come under the umbrella of the NOHA, and the NOHA can do that. The other thing I think we've never done, we've tried, but we never really got the Native community on side as well. They have championships of their own, but they're content to do their own thing. and the odd team will join the NOHA. But I think that is another area where we have to really work on and involve them. And then, of course, it's the new community, the new people coming into Canada. And again, you start slow, but you can start developing them. I think there's a lot of programs out there now that offer free equipment through Canadian Tire, and I think we have to, in the NOHA, encourage them. Maybe it's just starting out going to the schools and giving demonstrations of floor hockey, and not worrying about the skates and so on. But I think that's what we can do. And if we make it fun, that's the important thing. If we make it fun and it's a learning experience, the kids will come back. You have to have the right personality in charge that encourages the children, but also makes it fun for them. And they'll say, I liked it. I want to come back. And I think that's what we have to do. But I think, as I say, if we can get the natives and the females on board along with the new Canadians, I think the NOHA will be all right.